So for guys that take the gym seriously, and I'm
Mhm.
not including myself in this particular situation right now, but at this particular moment, but for guys that are looking for a good girl that, you know, a lot of guys, so someone like me, I don't go out a lot, go to the gym, go to work, hang out with family, friends, stuff like that, but I don't really go to clubs. I don't really drink alcohol. Um, so most of the people I see are in the gym.
Mhm.
So how does a guy find a good girl in the gym, especially with all of this toxicity, I'll call it today, that we just talked about? I mean, how do you do that? Can you answer that question for the guys listening right now?
Yes, and let's assume they have a similar lifestyle that they don't go to bars or other things like that. Their life is basically home, family, friends, work, and the gym. So they don't have the opportunity to meet people other ways. It doesn't mean you can't meet a female at the gym, but would I recommend you hook up with those? I mean, it depends. If you want an overnight stand, I would say yes. You know, make sure you don't get any kind of sexually transmitted diseases because you never know these girls. But I mean, if you want a good, female with their head on their shoulders and they're not going to be extremists kind of thing in those feminist kind of ways, part of it is look at how they dress.
Yeah,
If they dress more, and I'm not saying they have to have clothes up to their neck or anything like that, but if they dress decently, that's a good sign. It doesn't mean they're guaranteed yes. And see how they carry themselves or see how they interact. Have you ever made eye contact? Because when I call them the regulars, the people who go on the gym the same times as you can see like the same kind of people. Is there a female that, you can nod? Because I end up nodding to everybody that I see in the gym, just acknowledge, say hi kind of thing. Um, you'll know some females that they have their head down, they have their headphones in, and they avoid eye contact. You may not want to approach those because they might, so keep in mind they could be the nicest people in the world, but maybe they're getting ready for a show. Because I'm telling you right now, when I have my carbs cut and I'm close to a show, I'm not very talkative because I don't have the energy. Not because I'm not willing to talk to people afterwards. People usually know, you know, because I'm not like that all the time. I'm only when I'm getting close to a show am I like that. But the other piece is that let's say they're there on their lunch hour. They might have 1 hour. That's it to train. So they want to get as much from the workout as they can before they have to go to the gym. I'm just using that as an example. So you be careful you don't judge those girls, but you're going to see girls. And again, if you go at a time and you're like, everyone seems to be the same, that might mean that in order to access other types of females, you might need to try another time. And if you're like, Leslie, I don't have time. Like my job is from this time to this time. The only time I can go to the gym is this small little window. Okay, what about the weekends? If you have a Monday to Friday job, as an example, you might be very restricted on the time that you can go to the gym because of work reasons. I get that. Assuming you don't work on the weekends, you might try a different time slot on the weekend just to see. Then you get access to different types of females to try that out. Now, for those who are working weekends, there might be a day during the week that they might have a bit more flexibility what time they can go. Okay, again, even if it's once a week, try a different time slot. But yeah, as far as what they're wearing, that's part of it. How they carry themselves. How do they treat other people in the gym?
yeah.
Are they basically are they the kind of girl, even if they're a little bit more conservative, the, being very short or very kind of, for lack of a better word, bitchy to other people who approach them? Or are they interactive and it looks like, they're smiling and they're able to have a conversation with someone? So it's kind of like that. And then it might be, well, how do I approach these girls? Let's say I see these girls. How do I even approach them? Because I'm afraid what happens if they're one of those and I don't want to, get like a lawsuit against me for looking at them, because some girls are extreme, even though they may not look it. So it's the start with a smile. You know, you don't have to be creepy about it. You start with a smile, just kind of acknowledge, hey. And after a period of time, if you see them over a period of time, same day, same time, you can just say, how's your workout going? Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Or, hey, what are you training today? You know, again, these are surface level questions guys can ask. So, you know, and the thing is that you'll tell also by her response if she's interested in you. Because here's the guy. The guy might be saying, I'm interested in her. I don't know if she would find me attractive. So in that case, to say, how do you know? See if she helps carry the conversation. So as an example, the guy comes up to me and says, what are you training? Oh, I was training, let's say, hamstrings and glutes today. What are you training? Okay, I just asked you a question. I'm willing to continue the conversation. That's a start. So, I mean, it's kind of picking up on certain cues. But if you have an audience of guys, Mark, that want to ask other questions or even come on the podcast, like let me know, and then I can kind of go into more specifics, because I'm just talking about very generalistic situations. But yeah, I'm happy to go more specific if you have more specific scenarios in mind.
Yeah, I think that would be a good option. If we even had some people come on here, we could even make it like a dating type ask Q&A. But I guess the better question is, Leslie, is for people who are so dedicated to the gym that don't really go out, where is the best place to meet a significant other? I mean, it goes both ways. It's men and women. There's women, um, just using your gym example, that are dedicated to the gym like you. Um, you know, what's the best place for them to meet people? What do you think about that? Because it
In
can get
the
lonely,
yeah,
obviously, you know? I mean, I've lived it too.
yeah.
So, yeah.
Ideally, you want to meet someone organically. So what I mean by that is that it's you happen to be at the same place as they do, and you strike up a conversation versus going to someone in the street you don't know and just asking them suddenly, which would freak someone out anyway. So the gym, that's why I'm saying the gym organically can be one option. Another is, you know, be open around when you do grocery shopping. It has happened, you know, you can be in the vegetable section, say, oh man, these potatoes will look a little bit, or these strawberries look a little well done, and someone might also say, yeah, they were better last week, and that might be it. But if you still see that same person, let's say the following week, or in the future, and you keep running into each other, you don't know. Keep your options open. And here's the other thing: what about hobbies outside of the gym? What do you do? Some people might go bike riding, some people might go hiking, they might do a completely different sport, but whatever it is, think about how you can take that hobby and be in a group. So if you're someone who likes to go for a bike ride, join a club. And I'm not saying it has to be necessarily a cycling club where they're super serious, but just people who are interested, and sometimes websites, your local websites will have, community, whether it be like even let's say once a week on a Sunday at 9 a.m. this group gets together from this location that might be close to you, and you go for a bike ride. So by definition, organically, you're going to meet people who are also signed up for biking. Now I'm just using going for a bike ride as an example, but it could be anything, to saying, can I participate something or volunteer or whatever. What other activities are you doing where you're meeting other people, or potentially you could sign up for a workshop that, let's say, is only a weekend. Okay, you're going to meet people there. But it's kind of that's not why you sign up for the workshop. Here's the thing: by becoming better, I don't know if you know who Jordan Peterson is, but by working on yourself, by being a better person. This isn't just going to guys, this has to do with girls. Everyone's got to kind of up their game by improving ourselves, such as taking a course. And I'm not saying necessarily go to school. It could be, like I'd say, a one weekend workshop. You want to learn something, a little kind of an extra skill or something? Cool. Anyone else who signs up for that course organically, you could potentially meet them, and maybe something happens. You don't know. Or you meet someone and it's not so much them, but maybe they have a friend, maybe they have a brother or sister. Like, you don't know. It's called networking. That's not why you do it. You do it to make yourself a better person. And as an offshoot, basically, you know, a nice side effect is you might connect with somebody. So that's another option apart from the gym.
Well, you're a bodybuilder too, so you've certainly been around people who that's all they do is go to the gym, and it's like, where do I meet people? You know what I mean? I mean, you've been around everyone. I mean, you went to Dragon's Lair, you knew Flex Lewis. And how many people were you around there that were like professional, and some of them are probably famous and that's the
Mhm.
life they live, and they have like a million followers on Instagram, like they probably have you met people like that that live like that too, and they just you would think they would probably have all these women knocking their door down, but they don't. You know what I mean?
No, I mean, whether it be Dragon's Lair, I was also at Fit Club. It doesn't matter what gym you go to. And here's the other thing. If let's say you don't have hobbies or you're a little hesitant to do that. If you're whether you're a bodybuilder or you just like to go to the gym, another way you can meet people organically is go to a bodybuilding show. So even if you're in the audience, guess who's sitting beside you? Someone who's interested in the
Yeah.
show. Now they might be with now if they're with their boyfriend, probably not a good idea to kind of connect with them. But
Yeah.
you just get talking. Again, let's say you're interested in her, but she's got a boyfriend. Maybe she's got a sister. Maybe she's got a friend. You don't know. This is part of that networking. Because when you're sitting waiting or you're talking about, oh, he looks good or she looks good, that gives you an almost an excuse to have a conversation where it won't be kind of freaky to kind of talk to them because you're all seeing the same thing as far as the show, or let's say, oh, who are you here to see, or who are you supporting? What category are they in? That's a great way to be able to meet people. Now, again, whether something comes out of it or not, who knows? But you get an avenue of meeting people in who are like-minded. And again, they don't have to be bodybuilders, but again, they could be family members. They could have, their a sibling or their son or daughter in the show, or a parent in the show. You never know. And you say, hey, I'm here to support so and so, and you clap for them. When you say, hey, let me know when they're on. There's that sense of community and support, and you build that rapport. Part of the hardest part is developing rapport with people, because you don't want to come across as a creep, right? But and that you want to be in an environment where that's okay. When you're in a bodybuilding show in the audience, it's definitely okay to talk to people. So
Absolutely.
that's another one.
Yeah. That's a good idea. Yeah, that's a good idea. So, I mean, if you're already into fitness, you may as well either do a show or go to one.
Yeah. And then you're also supporting the obviously the sport, and who knows, maybe it'll actually motivate you or inspire you to say, hey, maybe I'll try. Because there's divisions now. I don't know if they have this in the States, but they have this in Canada, and it's called novice. So it's basically people who've never competed before, and they may never compete again, but think of it almost like a transformation contest.
Yeah.
They just want to see how far they can take it. And then, depending on how they do, even if they, let's say they win their novice category, then they might think, hey, maybe I'm going to try one of the shows. It's kind of a test ground, if you will. And then for others, it might be, no, I just want to see how I do. I want to show my accomplishments on stage, but no, I don't want to compete. That's okay too. So there's different avenues, but yeah, it's and here's the thing. I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but every time I go to a bodybuilding show, my workouts the following weeks are much better, because I feel so motivated when I see these people. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm just gonna hit it so hard at the gym next time. So I get super motivated after going to a show.
Yeah. Well, Arnold Classic, I'm always like really motivated after I go to that. But I've
Mhm.
never really been to a bodybuilding show.
Okay.
Um, for someone who's been into bodybuilding for so many years, I've never even really been to a show. I prepped for one. I wasn't able to do it ultimately, but it was a physique show at that time. But yeah, I've never really even really been to a show except for the Arnold Classic, and Absolutely. Every time I leave there, I'm just like, man, so motivated. But here's the thing. I don't lose that motivation anyway. So, you know what I mean? It's like I'm just even more motivated. Um, I'm coming from the Arnold Classic every time I lift, you know what I mean? So, because I'm always motivated.